Q1 delivery report came out being pretty disastrous, below 400,000, almost 387,000 deliveries, shocking everybody. But at the same time, Q1 was a bad quarter, a bad delivery quarter for everyone, whether you're Ford, GM, BYD, Rivian, it's just a bad quarter for everyone. And the fact that Tesla sold more than BYD and EVs in Q1 and now holds the crown again, being the best EV seller in the world, the most EV seller in the world, should tell you something. But nonetheless, Q1 is gone. The only thing we got to look forward to is earnings, and I will finalize that in a couple of weeks or so, right before we have the actual earnings report. And yes, we are going to do it live here on this channel as well, so make sure you guys are tuned in. But Q2, without a doubt, is going to be explosive, all right? And I'm going to break it down on why, despite the fact that we have a lot of inventory as well, that's going to be added onto it as well. But I'm going to break it down as we usually do with every quarter, with every Gigafactory, with every month here in this Excel sheet. So let's get down to it. Smash that like button if you haven't already and still subscribe. Let's go. So in this video, we're only going to be looking at production and deliveries. That is it. We're not going to be looking at what the stock price could be because we need to get through Q1 first. So let's get down to it. Let's start off with Shanghai. Daily production between 2,600 to 3,000. Lately, they've been smashing it with 3,000 production daily. Now in March, they did drop it down. Shout out to Troy for telling me this, but they dropped it down workday from 6.5 to 5. But I think in April, it's going to be back to 6.5, and that's assuming. Right? We won't know that until we see what's going to happen. But I'm going to go with the assumption that they're back to full force, 6.5 days, which is pretty much every single day. And here would be 3,000 vehicles. Multiply that by, in April, there's about 31 days, if I'm not mistaken. That would be there's about 30 days. 30 days in April, my mistake. About 90,000 vehicles being produced, right? Being produced in May, and there's no days off. When I looked at Shanghai, April, May, June, there's not many days off. So they're working back to back, which is insane, but that's how China rolls. 3,000 in May, there's 31 days there. That's about 93,000 vehicles being produced. And in June, 3,000, multiply that by 30 days as well. About 273,000 vehicles being produced in all of Q2 for Shanghai. Given the fact that they produce about 1 million in a year, this seems to be correct. Now, could we see something, a black swan happening in Shanghai in Q2? I don't know. Maybe in Berlin again with a terror attack? I don't know. Anything could happen. This is assuming that everything is going normal and there's no more interruption. That's all. We're taking that into consideration. That is it. So that is Shanghai. It could be less, more or less, depending if there's a holiday or not. But as far as I'm aware of, it doesn't seem like Shanghai does have any holidays. If they do, please comment down below so we can adjust it in the next video when we update it. Fremont. Fremont is a little bit on a picky side, because they're trying to update the Model 3, get the assembly line moving there. They're trying to get the hardware 4 onto the SNXs, so that's going to take some time. Nonetheless, 1,400 vehicles being produced daily does make sense. Now in April, May, and June, every single month for Fremont, there's a day off. There's some sort of holiday. So we got to discount that. 29 days for April, that's about a little over 40,000 in production. In May, 1,400, multiply that by 30 days because, again, 31 days in May, we have 1 day holiday, 30. And in June, same thing as April, 1 day off, which would be 29 days, around just over 123,000 vehicles being produced in Fremont. In Berlin, there's some news coming out that now Giga Berlin is going to be making right-hand vehicles, right-wheeled hand vehicles for India, which they can import 8,000 a year. If Berlin is making this, which it is rumored that they are, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but it looks like that is, this estimate could be bearish. But I'm keeping it bearish on purpose. So in April, I think they're going to produce 500 vehicles April, May, and June until they can fully ramp up because, again, there is some demand constraint on vehicles, not just EVs, for all vehicles because interest rates are high. So I think what Tesla is doing is they're just pulling a little bit on the handbrake. And I think Berlin is one of the ones that they're pulling the handbrake pretty nicely because they do have capacity to make 6,000 weekly now. But I don't think they're at that capacity right now. I think they're saving that when things are getting more crazier and when they need to, they can very easily and fast. But in April, they do have 1 day off in April, which is 29 days, 14,500 vehicles being produced. In May, they have 3 days off in May, which is nice. So 500, I'm going to keep it 500. If there's 31 days, that's 28 days. If we subtract 3, that's 14,000. And then in June, there's apparently no days off in June. Comment down below if there is or not. I'm not too sure. But based on the research that I did, it seems like there isn't. 30 days, that's about 15,000. Overall produced would be about 43,500 vehicles being produced. Now this could be more, maybe closer to 50,000, because if they are going to be producing 8,000 for India and they want to do it all in this quarter, then this could easily be over 50,000. But keeping things conservative. Moving on to Texas, with the Cybertruck and all this ramping up, I think Texas is gonna do wonderful. I think Texas, 765 vehicles being produced at the moment, even though they have 5,000 weekly. I think by end of this quarter, or maybe by sometime in May, Texas will be hitting 6,000 production as a capacity weekly. So that's just my opinion. Let's see what happens. But the way how they're pasting with Cybertruck and all that, it looks like it's going to happen. 29 days because it is the holiday in Texas. About 20,000 vehicles being produced. In May, 700 vehicles being produced daily because they are growing with the Cybertruck and the 3 and the Y. There's no 3 being produced in Texas yet. But the Y, so the Cybertruck and the Y will keep ramping up. Multiply that by 30 days, that's 21,000 vehicles being produced. And in June is the same thing, but we're going to increase to 725 vehicles being produced daily to 29 days. That's about over 61,000 vehicles being produced. Overall, total production is over 500,000, just literally 1,000 more than 500,000 vehicles being produced. Now that will be, if Tesla can produce over 500,000, that is bullish and very explosive, because we did 433,000 vehicles production in Q1. No doubt, if there's no black swan, if there's no terror attack on Berlin, if there is no other Red Sea incident that can slow down any of these factories, then I don't see why Tesla won't be producing over or at 500,000 vehicles. Now, deliveries is another story, because we do have a lot of inventory, and I do see this delivery report in Q2 being pretty darn explosive. Now, out of this 500,000 vehicles being produced, how much of it will be delivered? Well, I put here a 95% rate, and that will give us a 476,000 vehicles being delivered based on what's being produced in Q2. We do have inventory, so if we do have another 10 or 20,000 delivered, we could be closer to 500,000 vehicles being delivered. I won't be surprised, guys, if production will be even less, let's say around the 480s or 470s, but deliveries will be in the high 480s, 490s. But it looks like deliveries, in my opinion, around the 476, 475 does make sense. And if that happens, guys, that would mean we are at 863,000 vehicles, a little bit over that, deliveries in Q2. And you guys already know this would be a run rate of deliveries. Put the calculator right here, guys. 476, 2 times 3 times 4 of just below 2 million. But we know Q3 will be more, and Q4, especially in Q4, will be a whole lot more, because Q4 is very strong. And if we do get some sort of interest rate cuts around Q3, Q4, well, even better. But it looks like we are going to be reaching that 2 million mark for deliveries this year at least, until we get the interest rates coming down and the compact car coming. But what do you guys think? Do you guys believe that we can hit 500,000 production for Tesla in Q2 alone, and deliveries being 476? Again, my opinion, I think the production will be a bit less, and delivery will be exceeding production because of inventory of last quarter. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I'm very curious to know what you guys think Q2 is going to be. Until then, guys, you guys need to listen to what Elon Musk had to say with all his flipping bombshells in this video right here. It's absolutely insane. If you're a Tesla boy, you guys need to check it out. It was good. It was pretty refreshing to hear. All right, check it out, guys. Get your I bought the dip t-shirt, man, because we know this is the dip. We know this is the dip. And hit subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.